You're tuned to The Drive on your 24/7 home of the black and gold. Steelers Nation Radio.
Good afternoon, Steelers Nation. It's The Drive on the Steelers Audio Network. Wes Uhler and Matt Williamson with you here for the next 2 hours on a Wednesday, as we will kind of do some final bye-week, bigger picture conversations, and, of course, begin to take a look at those Cleveland Browns. Matt, I know the stats are all done, all prepared.
Close.
Okay.
Wednesday night is when they're due.
So is the one you sent me just kind of a rough draft?
It's like rough draft number 5, because I also do a Wednesday night show with Tim and Tom.
Sure.
So I always make sure they get something and they have the day to digest it. We, of course, do. I'd carry that show, too.
Lemieux, baby. Listen, I'm just trying to be 68, okay? Matt's 66. I'm just trying. He's Swiss on Swiss. I'm just trying to be 68 out here.
You're doing the job, brother.
Every Batman needs a Robin, and that's for sure. So we've got plenty to get to today. We're also going to catch up with our buddy Chris Adamsky.
Yeah, we got a lot
too.
going on, right?
We're going to do a little around campus.
Love it.
I procured another kind of quarterback packet for you. Some similar names, some new names. I didn't even realize
Put some work into this sucker.
Yeah, we obviously highlighted once or twice this Saturday, big one between probably the top 2 quarterbacks right now, in Mendoza and Dante Moore out there in Eugene between Indiana and Oregon. But as I was putting this together, there's 4, 5, 6 really good college football games to watch this weekend, particularly from the lens of could this be a Steelers future quarterback. So we'll get into all of that eventually today too. But, Matt, I just wanted to start with you kind of I
think I mentioned this yesterday. I apologize. Sometimes I get my wires crossed. But
you do a lot of shows.
Yeah, because I did a whole show on it, on one of my specific ones. One of these days soon, maybe even today or next week or whatever, we should go through the league and see teams that are in the quarterback market.
Absolutely.
It starts growing, by the way.
Absolutely.
It's going to get harder and harder for the Steelers to get their guy.
It is. And that's something, too, that we should plan to, because we'll have a couple more open-ended shows the week after that Thursday night
next week
game
it's weird.
The
You and I need to talk about our first bye week situation.
Yeah.
I mean, things happen quick. Or Thursday night game.
The Thursday night game,
yeah.
And I'll be leaving Wednesday afternoon with the team,
I
obviously.
assumed, right.
Fly. So we'll figure all that out.
I know. We'll
next
talk
week.
off the air, but
that's problems.
Nobody's caring about that.
That's problems for Wes and Matt next week, baby.
But we won't have a show next Thursday, folks.
But
That's game day.
Yeah, game day certainly will be different, and we'll have to see what's going on Wednesday. We will have a Friday recap show for sure. I might be on just a couple hours of sleep, but we'll get through it, and then we'll be able to enjoy, hopefully, a peaceful weekend. Matt, let's dive into some way too early NFL awards. I guess we're kind of at the again, there's no perfect quarter poll in the NFL anymore that there's 17 games, but
Steelers have played 4.
Steelers have played 4. Some in the league have played 5. We're starting to get into bye weeks, all those things. There's starting to be a little separation, not only in the divisions, but also in some of these individual awards. So I'll give you dealer's choice. Where you want to start? You want to go MVP, offensive or defensive player of the year, rookies
let's just start
of the
at the
year?
top. You want to go MVP?
You want to go MVP? Let's do it. That is the big one.
I haven't given these individual awards much thought. I did just do a podcast re-guessing, projecting my new playoffs picture.
Okay.
Which is way different.
Way different.
I mean, way different.
Maybe we can do that at some point here as well today, too.
But I haven't given these a ton of thought. So let's go. I'm ready. I mean, I like doing these things, organically on the air, too.
Yeah, absolutely. MVP to me, and listen, this has, in a lot of ways, become a quarterback award.
I'm not even sure it's worth talking about anybody else because offensive player of the year is its own thing.
If Saquon wasn't going to win it last year, right? I mean, we might never see another non-quarterback win it, or at least for a long time. Matt, to me, I feel like there are certainly some names in this list. In a weird way, you should probably throw Lamar Jackson into this or Joe Burrow into this, but that's a different conversation.
Right.
To me right now, it feels like Josh Allen, feels like Baker Mayfield, feels like Daniel Jones needs to be in this conversation as well, too.
Not the names we expected. I mean,
Maybe
other than
Josh
Allen. Right. But, I mean, it's Allen, Lamar, Mahomes. I want to throw Mahomes' name out there right now, but he's not in the mix right now. But if they get back to like a 12-win team and the stuff they overcame early in the season, he might be worth just putting a dollar on in Vegas right now.
Yeah,
'Cause I bet it pays off
a $5 holler.
Yeah, that might be worth it. Allen, I mean, yes, but he hasn't had the dominant stats that he did last year, and he's had a few more mistakes. I'm not saying he's any worse. I think he's as good a player as ever, but I kind of think it's maybe one of the lesser-known dudes. You know, I mean, not lesser-known. Everyone knows Baker Mayfield,
Sure.
and these guys are NFL quarterbacks. Dak Prescott's playing as well as anyone.
Dak deserves to be in the conversation.
They just haven't won enough games.
They're 2-2-1 right now. They would have to stay at least above 500 for him to. Because you're right. I mean,
we know how the award goes.
You can dominate college football if your team is 7-5. You're not winning the Heisman.
Right. I mean, you'd have to be really special. Stafford
should be in the conversation.
Yeah, I'm just throwing out
Absolutely.
names so I don't miss anyone. I'm scanning. What I'm doing right now is I'm scanning
Just
the
kinda
league in my
scanning.
head.
Yeah.
Goff?
I was just going to say Jared Goff.
Yeah, I think Goff has a probably better case than Stafford.
He might. He's been impressive through their 5 games.
I keep going back to Baker.
That to me right now, listen, Josh Allen, it's almost the weird
it's boring.
to use a Heisman example for you again. Can you tell I just put together a quarterback stats package?
Yeah,
for
you're
the
all
last
over
couple
college
hours?
stuff. I love it.
It's we've seen one time in the history of college football somebody win the Heisman back to back, and that was Archie Griffin
when
50
I was
years
3
ago.
years old, right?
Like Tim Tebow didn't do it. Matt Leinart didn't do it.
And that's when people weren't even coming out early or transferring.
Exactly right. And
I'm sure there's plenty of instances where a football player was the best player in the country 2 years in a row.
No doubt.
No doubt. Right.
And it's not that no one's ever deserved to win it the second year, but it's like if you win the Heisman, you had a pretty insane season.
Yes.
Can you go back and do it again or be even better? You know, that's almost kind of the
thing. I think it hurt Lamar a little last year.
Certainly.
If it's a tiebreaker between him and Allen, we're kind of sick of you. I think it hurt Watt with Defensive Player of the Year. You know, it definitely hurt Aaron Donald through his career. He could have won him every year.
Oh, you had 20 and a half sacks last year. This year you only had 17.
Right.
I mean, could you really have been the defense? There's some, remember, these are humans that vote on these things, and there's some voter fatigue, and there's some recency bias and all that stuff. Whereas,
like Allen's got to have to be superb to get it this year.
To win an award like the Heisman or the MVP back-to-back, you have to, again, almost do better than you did the previous season, at least from a statistical standpoint. And that's a very tough ask, even if you are a unicorn like Josh Allen.
And he hasn't done better.
Right.
You know, I mean, he still might be the best.
Standards,
he might be the best player walking the earth right now, but he didn't do better statistically. That doesn't mean I wouldn't vote for him, but I don't think the committee would, as is.
Correct.
And I don't think anyone's running away with it either.
No.
You know what I mean?
Like last year, it really started to feel like it was going to be Lamar or Josh Allen for a long time.
Yeah.
And hey, maybe by Halloween, we're singing a different tune. Maybe it is a clear-cut 2 or 3 person race here after another 3 or 4 games. But I think I might give Baker the slight edge right now.
I think that's who I'd vote for.
Which is crazy. I don't think
they didn't have Wirfs. They haven't had Evans. Godwin just came back.
That's kind of the – and again –
it's not a great defense.
I almost wish that MVP awards were like most outstanding player awards.
Because most valuable is misleading.
It's misleading.
Yeah.
Like Sidney Crosby only won MVP twice because everyone was always like, "Oh, if Evgeny Malkin's so good, he can't possibly be the MVP. He's got another top 5 player on his team." You know, like
because the Pens would survive without him.
Correct, exactly.
But that doesn't mean he's not the best player.
But that doesn't mean he was the best player on the planet for a dozen years.
Yeah.
So there's some weirdness in that kind of MVP versus most outstanding, because I don't think Baker has been the most outstanding. But in the true sense of the most valuable player, I think it's Baker Mayfield right now, early on in the season.
I'm glad you mentioned Daniel Jones, but I can't quite bring myself there. And part of it's because if we were to do Offensive Player of the Year, I'm going to give some votes to Jonathan Taylor too. So I'm not sure he's even the Colts MVP.
That's a good point. That's a very.
But of course, this is a quarterback award.
It is, and maybe Herbert will work his way back into this conversation.
I
before
thought he
the
was
year's over.
Kind of not running away with it, but was making the strongest case.
If we would have done this 2 weeks ago,
and this isn't his fault even.
No, not at all. And it's. That, again, speaks to the true nature of the award. If he can overcome devastating injuries to his offensive line, still guide that team to double-digit wins in a playoff berth, that's value. I mean, that is most valuable player overcoming all that stuff.
If they can rebound if they can survive a brutal stretch of October and then come back November, December like they did September, he'll be right in the hunt.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Let's go to Offensive Player of the Year then, since you mentioned that there. Feel like a three-person race. Puka
I
Nacua,
would say
Jonathan
Puka and Taylor
Taylor
are the two that come to mind. Who's the
Jackson
third?
Smith and Jigba?
Ooh, okay. He'd be a third, though.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
But I think he deserves a shout in the conversation.
Yeah, he's been ridiculous. I think Nacua has to win it.
I think
His
so,
numbers
too.
are insane.
Insane.
Right.
What he's doing right now.
Like, if you
It's just
project it out
unbelievable.
for the year, it's the best receiver year ever, by far.
He's caught over 84% of the passes thrown in his direction.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's just insane. He,
I
like
mean,
you
his
mentioned,
projections for catches and yards and
could be one of the best single seasons for a wide receiver we've ever seen.
even his career, I think he's been underrated. I think one of my favorite receiver stats is yards per route run. Because if you're running routes, you have to demand targets, and what do you do with those targets? You break it down to the lowest common denominator per route run. I think he has the best yards per route run in NFL history for a career.
Wow.
I mean, he's always at 1 or 2 in the league, no matter what. He's so good after the catch. And I think that part of the things that hurt his reputation is McVay's so good. And, well, Kupp won the Triple Crown, too. And they have Devontae Adams, and he's such a good schemer. All that's true. But that's like blaming Montana for Walsh or Brady for Belichick. You know,
Crosby for Malkin.
Right,
you know?
exactly, exactly. I mean, Nacua on any team to me is probably behind Chase and Jefferson, but he's in competition for 3, 4, 5 as the best receiver on the planet. I mean, CeeDee Lamb and
Yeah.
A.J. Brown. I mean, like these type of guys. He's in that stratosphere.
He might be the best player in football so far this season.
Yeah, he might be. He
I
might
mean,
be, right.
I don't
in terms
think that's
of
an
case.
I don't think that's an outrageous statement to make.
Taylor's having a ridiculous year, but I think it has to go to Nacua.
Agree. But those two feel like the leaders in the clubhouse right now. I think Jackson Smith and Jigba deserves a mention, but
Oh, yeah.
those two feel like
They're really strong.
they're pulling away from the pack.
Yeah.
Defensive player of the year, Matt. Is this going to be a
I have
a
two
Bonito,
names off the top of my
and a
head.
Myles Garrett race?
Those are my two names, right.
Anyone else? Like, does an Aiden Hutchinson deserve to be thrown in there?
I don't think to their level.
Yeah. It
I'm
feels like a
scanning.
two-horse
Yeah.
race right now.
I would say I don't think any of the
Parsons, I think, could get into the conversation. There's still, obviously, a ton of football left to be played.
and of course this is going to be true for all these conversations. But if you already had your bye, you only played 4 games instead of 5. It doesn't. Think about Parsons.
Sure.
Like it doesn't hurt your cause as much.
Sure.
And what if he played this past week and had 3 sacks? We'd be like, oh, it's Parsons.
Right.
And he's playing the Bengals this week. He might have
Right.
6 sacks, and we'd be like, oh, but Parsons.
And maybe if TJ goes out there and has a
Right.
3-sack and forced fumble game, all of a
Exactly.
sudden, yeah.
I would go Garrett. I think Bonito has really leveled up to being a tier 1 pass rusher, which is such a massive pat on the back. I mean, I don't throw that term around at all. But Matt Stats, I was digging in today, and frankly, Garrett does much more than just the stats. But I didn't realize he leads the league in tackles for loss. He's playing the run better than he ever has. They're the hardest defense in the league to run against.
Mm-hmm.
So the pass rush stuff's always been there, and it is. And over his career, there's been, I won't say he doesn't take plays off. He plays really hard. But let's say he saves some energy against the run at times. And I'm sure coaches are like, great, save your energy for the for 3rd 8, But a run away from him, he might jog after a little or whatever. I see less and less of that this year.
Okay.
I mean, I really think he's leveled up, which I thought he might be the best defensive player in the year last year. Now he's better than that.
It's the, I don't know, maybe 3rd or 4th time you've said that in the last few weeks, and I can feel everybody already typing their angry comments.
They're mad at me. Right?
Remember, that's at Williamson NFL, okay?
I won't talk about it after this week until they play the Browns again.
We will do plenty of Myles Garrett
Yeah.
and Cleveland defense conversation on the next 2 days on the show.
I don't think he has crazy sack numbers, though. I think he only has 3.
Not crazy sack
It's not
numbers,
bad, but it's 3 or 4. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Honestly, there's nobody that right now has sack numbers that really jump off the page at you.
I think Benito's 1.
I think you are correct in that
Gary
regard.
was tied for 1, and then he didn't play last week.
Yes.
Benefits from Parsons a lot.
We will continue to obviously monitor those as we roll along here. Matt, let's take a break. We come back on the other side. Offensive Rookie of the Year, Defensive Rookie of the Year, Coach of the Year. Some interesting ones for
Coach
the
of the year's so tough
Coach of the
every year,
year's
right?
tough every year. Could certainly be the case again this year. We'll continue the conversation when we return on the other side. Wes Uhler, Matt Williamson. It's The Drive on Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network. Back on The Drive here as we get into some way too early quarter season-ish awards, thoughts, and predictions here on the Steelers Audio Network. Matt, perhaps I think the most difficult one to nail down at this point, defensive rookie of the year. There's a lot of guys that deserve to be brought up in the conversation. I don't know if there's a clear-cut winner right now. I think Abdul Carter deserves mention.
He was the preseason favorite by a lot.
Yes.
Which I totally understood.
And pass rushers, it's kind of like quarterbacks in this regard.
Helpful. It's hard to be a corner or safety.
Exactly right. Exactly right. But speaking of corners, I think Upton Stout from the Niners deserves some shout in this.
It's been really good.
Stout deserves a shout. I know, again, we're not allowed to say nice things about the Browns, but Carson Schlesinger has been very good for Cleveland.
Really good.
And played a ton of snaps doing so. Anybody else that deserves a shout in this conversation?
I'm glad you mentioned Schlesinger. Linebackers have a chance because they can accumulate a lot of stats.
Ton of
fumble
tackles
recoveries
and fumbles.
And,
a
couple picks,
too,
blah, blah, blah.
Couple picks, yeah.
Two linebackers stand out to me. Schlesinger, who you mentioned, who has been better than advertised, and the Eagles' first-round pick, Jahad Campbell.
Ooh, good mention there, yeah.
I actually put a couple bucks on him preseason as a long shot.
Nice.
Feeling pretty good about it.
Nice.
Carter started slow. I mean, I think he probably, if I had to bet on who's going to win it, I don't know that he's done enough to date. Stout's good, but he's a slot, and he's going to have a tough time.
Tough.
Yeah. I think those two linebackers would be my vote. One of the two.
This could certainly be something, one of these awards where someone emerges down the stretch here.
Yeah.
Maybe, that we haven't even really kind of hit on all the possibilities at this point, but this one to me is still kind of the most wide open of all these.
Yeah, I would say so.
Every other one of these, it feels like you can narrow down to 2, 3, 4 guys, where this, I think we could probably list 7 or 8 where it wouldn't surprise us if they ended up winning the award.
I'm really scanning the league right now, too, thinking about the first rounders.
Yeah.
A lot of those edge rushers aren't like blowing your doors off.
Starting a little bit slow.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's where we are with Defensive Rookie of the Year. Now, Offensive Rookie of the Year, different conversation.
Yeah.
Is this another 2-horse race between Emeka Egbuka and Tyler Warren?
Ted McMillan I would throw in there,
Ted
too.
McMillan, okay.
He's been really good.
He has.
His surroundings haven't been – he doesn't have the MVP thrown to him. We gave it to Baker.
Good point.
But I think it's Egbuka.
He's been unbelievable.
He's been unbelievable. I mean, all his advanced stuff is at the top of the league. He's attacking at all levels, coming off a huge game. I mean, Warren's great and exceeded expectations. I would give it to Egbuka pretty clearly, though.
I don't think there's a wrong answer there, but I'm leaning in that direction as well, too.
I mean, he's blowing the doors off.
He's been outstanding. Leads rookies in receiving yards, receiving touchdowns, second in yards per route run for your kind of favorite stat there. And let's not kid ourselves, Matt. Big part of these awards are the moments, the snapshots, the highlights that everybody sees, because the however many 100 people that vote on this, don't kid yourselves. They're not watching every second of every game NFL Sunday.
Of course, right.
They're in a stadium covering some team. They're traveling. They're doing a million different things. It's like every single week he's making a big play against the Falcons, against the Jets, against the Seahawks to help them win those games.
Yes.
And that's the kind of stuff that vote. It's like the Heisman moment thing.
Yeah.
The
thing that's memorable.
You got to have those memorable moments. And I mean, we're a quarter pole into the season, and he's got 2 or 3 already.
We're talking about him every week, and And I think that Godwin's back, and he's easing back into shape. Evans should be back soon. With all respect to Evans, who I think is an all-time great, I still think he'll be their leading receiver. And I mean, I think Egbuka is going to be the man.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's a dangerous trio. I mean, talk about
good Lord.
With Mayfield playing the way he is, and right.
If they get Bucky Irvin back running he's capable of too. I mean,
Otton's
that is
not terrible,
Could be saying that's the best offense in the NFL by the time we get to the end of the season.
Which will, I guess, strengthen Baker's cause.
Would certainly
MVP too.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
Getting better stuff around him.
Finally here, Matt, Coach of the Year. This one is always crazy difficult. I feel
I think you got to throw the Colts in there.
Colts have to be in there. Shane Steichen has to be in there. That is how he pronounces his last name, correct?
I call it Steichen, but I don't know if I'm 100% right.
Steichen. Shane S.
Yeah.
Of the Colts. And Dan Campbell, I think, has to be in there,
because he
too.
lost both coordinators.
Lost
Campbell,
both coordinators, a lot to that
going a
offensive
long way.
line. I think everybody expected them to take a step back, and they're 4-1 once again.
Yeah.
Sean McVay in the conversation.
I was about to say Shanahan, too.
Shanahan certainly in the conversation.
Kittle, Ayuk.
Mike McDonald in the conversation.
Yeah. Shanahan lost so much, and they've only lost one game.
They're 4-1.
They're the most injured team in the league, not named the Ravens.
This is going to be an interesting race to follow because there's a lot of capable candidates. Heck, if the Steelers end up winning 11 or 12 games in the division, Mike
Tomlin's not out of it.
He's not out of it.
Right.
Liam Cohen's not out of it. The Jags are 4-1.
That's a good one too.
If they win 11 games and win the division, he's got to get some conversation.
And
in
the
this regard.
Shannies and McVays don't win it as much as the new guy that exceeded expectations.
Exactly, and that's a big part.
I don't think Chuck Noll ever won it. Like Belichick won it once.
It's a big part of it. It's a big part of it too.
Yeah.
You have to exceed the expectations, and because of that, it kind of helps if you have lower expectations coming into the year.
Yeah,
and then are able to win 11 or 12 games and win your division when everyone thought you'd be picking in the top 10.
Chargers Harbaugh, I thought, had a strong case when we were talking about Herbert as MVP too.
Yeah,
but they're starting to fall off a little bit.
They're falling behind a little bit. Certainly,
Coach of the Year is one of the weirdest ones to me.
It really is. It's always tough to pin down.
It doesn't mean you're the best coach walking the planet.
Correct.
Right.
Correct. Or else some of these guys
I'd go with Steichen.
Would have won it. Yeah.
I mean, talk about it exceeding expectations. They're definitely the team that exceeded the most.
I think he's my one. I think Dan Campbell's my two for right now. And then a lot of other deserving candidates.
And one other name I'd throw out there is Vrabel.
Certainly.
I mean,
if they make the playoffs.
That would go a long way. They were so bad a year ago.
So bad. And there's some real names that have a chance here. Liam Cohen.
And Tomlin's won. I mean,
Tomlin's
they
won.
win the division by 2 or 3 games and win 10 or 11 games. It's a lot of change. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Matt, that's our kind of quarter poll thoughts and predictions and awards.
Who would be your
point.
Steeler Rookie of the Year?
Ooh.
I haven't given this any thought at all.
I think it's going to be Derek Harmon. But right now,
I don't think you could vote for him now.
Right now, I might say Y.A. Black.
It's not bad.
I mean,
it's definitely not Johnson.
It's not Johnson. Sawyer, we've seen some of, but I think Y.A. Black. And again, there's some of the exceeding expectations type thing where he has really put his hand in the pile earlier than I think we
didn't
all
have a
thought.
second round pick.
Didn't have a second round pick. First round pick was hurt. Third round pick is barely played.
Right. I think it has to be Black.
Got to be Y.A. Black at this point.
Yeah.
Now, a month from now, we might be saying, it's Derek Harmon.
Monday, we might say sorry.
Monday,
yeah, right, yeah.
Exactly.
It might be enough. Be like, I've seen a couple games from him. He's the best guy.
Offensive Rookie of the Year? Can we even pick one?
Or
you're just going Rookie of the Year in general
I
for
just
the
picked
Steelers.
Steeler Rookie, yeah. I mean,
that's
I forget what that award's called. But
it's the Mean Joe Green Performance Award.
Yeah.
Which, of course, Zach Frazier won this past season. Steelers MVP, Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Tell you what, though, I think the last couple games, T.J. Watt's making a case, certainly.
Cam Hayward ain't dead yet.
Hayward,
right.
dead yet. But I think it's got to be Aaron Rodgers at this point.
I would say.
Newcomer of the Year, DK Metcalf.
Okay.
Maybe Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah.
But their pass game would really be struggling without DK Metcalf.
Yeah. Not getting as many targets as you think, though.
No.
That's one of my Matt stats this week is he's averaging like 5.5 targets a game, which is like 43rd amongst wide receivers.
We need to get that up.
Yeah, that needs to go.
We need to get that up. We need to get that up into the top 25. All right, Matt. You want to, I guess, kind of stay same church, different pew here. We got a few minutes left in this segment till we got a break.
Okay.
You want to go around the divisions and pick our new division winners, or I guess just some of them will be the same as the beginning of the year.
Sure.
But our division winners at this point.
I did this the other day, so I think I know mine off the top of my head.
Okay. And I think I can do. This is one of those like on the fly things. I think I can do pretty quickly. Let's start in the NFC.
NFC? Okay.
Yeah, let's start in the NFC West, which I think is one of the more
That's the hardest
interesting
one.
conversations.
I picked the Rams, and I thought that was the hardest division winner to pick.
I think this is right now the hardest to pick.
Yes.
Yes, and there's a couple others. Definitely the AFC West is tough to pick as well too.
Yeah. AFC South is hard.
AFC South is difficult.
Yeah.
But
One
the
thing
NFC
about
West,
when we went into this, we did a whole podcast on it, so it was a whole half hour. So we went deeper than we're going to in these few minutes. But we even went into, like, the Niners. They only have one loss, but it was to an AFC team. They already have some division wins. Like, their Niners tiebreakers,
matters.
it really matters, especially for wild card stuff.
It's like with the Steelers, man. They win these next 2 games, and you're 5-1. Your only loss was an NFC loss. You're
Right.
3-0 in the conference and 2-0 in your division. It's
a heck of a good
huge.
start, right? But the Niners are really sitting pretty. That's one thing that hurts the Rams a little bit, is their tiebreakers aren't as good
They're
as the Niners.
not great in
Right,
the
right,
tiebreakers already. I think I would lean Rams, though, too, just because I trust their quarterback more than the others. I think Darnold's been good. The Niners, man, Mac Jones has done everything you could ask him to do, and they'll get Brock Purdy back. They'll get a lot back, the Niners.
Yeah. The
But
future looks bright.
I think I'm going to lean on the Rams because I like their head coach the most. I like their quarterback the most.
Me too.
That's a tough one, though, to pick.
Yeah, it was we started with the hardest division, I think.
Yeah. NFC South. It's the Bucs. This might be the easiest one to pick
Yeah,
at this
I think
point.
the Bucs.
I mean, I could see the Falcons showing some life and maybe finishing with 8 or 9 wins, but feels like this one.
They win it every year. I mean, it's like the most underreported story. They're like
5 straight years, I think, that they've won the division and been to the playoffs, and that has included the post-Tom Brady era. That's not just a Brady statistic anymore. That one's pretty easy to me, I think, with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. NFC North is interesting. Nice start for the Lions, but I certainly don't think the Packers are going to go quietly into the night.
I don't either. And I picked my preseason pick was the Packers, and I had them going to the Super Bowl. But I'm going to take the Lions just because they're in a little better shape mathematically right now.
I might still take the Packers.
I totally get it. That was a coin flip for me.
I think we're going to see Parsons really unleashed here after the bye week. They do have that tiebreaker over the Lions. Green Bay does this point.
That's important.
But this is
they also have that weird tie. The tiebreakers aren't going to matter for them.
That's true.
Right.
That's true. I'm gonna lean towards the Packers. I'm crazy impressed with how the Lions have responded since that Week 1 big loss at Lambeau.
Very much so.
But I'm gonna lean towards the Packers on this one.
Okay. I'm taking the Eagles in the East still.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
and this one, it feels like, Matt, it's been 20 years since somebody won that division 2 years in a row.
Which is nuts.
Which is wild.
Yeah, it's nuts.
I think the Commanders could at least push the Eagles.
Yeah, I mean, they might be in the wild card talk. Right? Yeah.
But this, to me, feels like Philly's division and in the driver's seat. They just lost their first game in 10 months. I mean...
Right. They're in pretty good shape.
They're in very good shape.
Yes.
Very good shape. Let's take a break here. We'll do the AFC when we get back.
I got 3 wild cards, too.
Ooh, okay, yeah, let's do the NFC wild cards. Yes, okay. Sorry, before we go to break, let's do that. Right. Let's do that. Who you got for wild cards?
I bet we both agree that the other North team is going to be a wild card.
Yes.
So for me, that's the Packers.
100%.
I also went with Seattle and the Niners, and mostly because of the Niners tiebreaker stuff. So I have the Commanders out. I have the Falcons out. I have the Vikings out.
I think I'm going to agree with you on that.
Okay.
The Commanders are still intriguing to me.
Yeah.
I don't think they're quite as good as they were last year.
It came down to Commanders versus Niners for that 7 spot for me.
But they were able to steady the ship without Daniels. Now they get him back.
They're running the ball really well. The offense is going to be good. McLaurin's still going to come back.
But I think I think I will go. I'm with you. I'm going to go Niners, Seahawks, and Lions.
Yeah, the other North team. Yeah. I felt pretty strong about Seattle. I think that's a playoff.
Feels pretty strong about Seattle. Feel pretty strong about the other North team.
Yeah,
it's Detroit and Green Bay. That's interesting.
7 ones.
Man, I could see San Francisco kind of falling apart a little bit, but I think they deserve the benefit of the doubt at this point.
They go to Tampa this week, and it wouldn't shock me if they get beat bad. And all of a sudden we're like, boy, they were kind of held together with duct tape and,
Yeah.
But then they might get Kittle in a week and Ayuk in 2 weeks.
And start to get healthier.
Right. There's a lot of talk, too. They could try to trade for a Hendrickson or somebody like that, too, which is right up their alley. They do that kind of stuff.
A both of these conferences, I think the wild card races are going to be a lot of fun this year.
Yeah,
a lot of fun this year.
You do AFC on the other side?
Let's do AFC on the other side. We'll do that to close down the first hour of the program. Wes Uhler, Matt Williamson, it is The Drive on Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network. Closing down the first hour of today's edition of The Drive, Wes Uhler, Matt Williamson, kind of going over some bigger picture, maybe kind of the final portion of this bye week conversation in a lot of ways, Matt.
Yeah.
You know, bigger picture award stuff, division winners, all those things, before we really, of course, the next 2 days turn the page to the Cleveland Browns. And we'll begin to do some of that with our buddy Chris Adamsky in the second hour of the show as well. But, Matt, we have got to go through the AFC now to give our division winners and our wild card teams. Let's start with another tough one, the AFC West.
Okay, yeah.
Right now, you got the Chargers and the Broncos, each at 3-2. You got the Chiefs at 2-3. Chargers, the good news for them is in those first 3 wins of the season, they built up some nice kind of tiebreaker equity. They've lost a little bit of it, but they still are 3-0 in that division, 3-0 against the AFC.
I forgot they're 3-0 in the division.
Yeah, that puts them, you know, if the season ended today, they would be the AFC West champion via tiebreakers.
They've done enough.
But I don't know if either of us is going to be picking them to win the division at this point.
I'm not. I think it comes down to the Broncos and Chiefs. And I expected the Chiefs to win Sunday night. They didn't. I thought they were maybe the better team. But I am starting to come around that they're starting to come around. You know, I think they're starting to turn a corner a little bit. Rashee Rice should be back soon. That'll go a long way. I'm taking the Chiefs just because they've earned it. They win it every year. I mean, I don't know if Andy Reid's never won the division.
It's a good point.
I can't remember, yeah.
I mean, because he was winning it with Alex Smith before before Mahomes even got there. This one's tough because I am a Broncos believer.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I really am.
I very much am, too.
I think that they are a dangerous team. I think they have one of the best defenses in the National Football League.
Yeah.
And I think I've been very encouraged by the performance of Bo Nix over the last couple weeks after a little bit of a slow start for him.
Yeah.
Having said all that, here comes the but. I've said this to you, I think, 4 or 5 times already this year. The Chiefs, to me, have entered Brady, Belichick, Patriots territory.
Oh, yeah.
Now, this division isn't nearly as much of a cakewalk as it was for Brady and Belichick and those guys in the years where the Jets and the Dolphins and the Bills all stunk to high heaven.
Yeah.
They had that division won by Halloween every single year. But I am in the same way that I didn't pick against the Patriots ever back then, I'm not going to pick against the Chiefs now.
I'm not either.
I would love to pick the Broncos. I don't know if I've ever shared this with you or the Drive audience before. I had with Moats and on the Steelers Blitz, and when the Steelers would play the Broncos like they did last year, he would always give me a bunch of grief. I was kind of a Broncos fan growing up.
Oh, really?
I went to that 1997-98 AFC Championship game at Three Rivers with my grandpa, wearing a John Elway Broncos jersey with my Steelers jacket over top.
Wow.
I still have a John Elway and a Terrell Davis jersey somewhere in a box in my attic. I was a Broncos fan growing up.
They'd be an easy team to root for.
I was like there's a lot of kids around the Pittsburgh area now that love the Steelers, and they got a Patrick Mahomes jersey.
Sure.
You know, because it's just, when you're a kid, it's just those guys are fun. They're good. You're not like, I can only root for one team.
Yeah.
I was a Broncos and a Steelers fan growing up. And so there's still kind of very tiny, but still a tiny little Broncos soft spot in my heart from my childhood.
Interesting.
I would love to pick the Broncos, but I'm going Chiefs.
I have no soft spot whatsoever for my team of that nature. But when I was 8, 9, 10, 12 years old and really, really into football, and that never really changed, obviously, the Chargers were reinventing things. Eric Coryell.
Yeah.
People didn't throw the ball like Fouts and Winslow Sr. and Chandler and Joyner and Jefferson. They didn't play any defense.
They were a different gravy.
I mean, if you were a young kid, everyone loved the Chargers. So the only non-Steeler gear I've ever owned, well, I guess besides the Browns that I paid for, was a Dan Fouts jersey.
I paid for it.
That somebody in my family paid for. I didn't pay for that jersey, but yeah, the only I've ever worn was Steeler stuff, Brown stuff for a year. Quickly didn't go after that. Although I still have a sweatshirt that says Williamson on it from the Browns.
Do you?
Everything else went on eBay. But
hold on to that one. That's
and then nobody wants
a
the
good
Williamson one.
I was
right,
going to say it's a good memory. I don't know if it's the best memory, but it's a nice.
I'm going to keep that one. But it's a full sweatsuit that says Williamson on both sides. Yeah, both pants and sweatshirt.
Nice.
But I did have a Fouts jersey.
You could ask our Steelers radio network game day producer Dan Quinlan when we went to Mile High Stadium last year. They have like their kind of Hall of Honor, Ring of Honor equivalent outside.
Oh, okay.
And they have like little like almost kind of like the Pro Football Hall of Fame. There's like little head busts of each of them. You know, Davis and Sharp and Atwater and all those guys.
Elway, of course.
So when we were walking in, they're all there, and it's like Elway and Davis right next to each other. I was like, Dan, you got to take my picture real quick. And I went up between the Terrell Davis and the John Elway busts and like smiled. And yeah.
You don't remember young Elway, though, like I do.
No, not really. But he was my first favorite football player was John Elway.
Which I totally respect because even when I was like new to media, I often said he's the most underrated of quarterbacks. You know, they went to Super Bowls
with nobody.
And people are like, well, you know, they had the three amigos. I'm like, tell me who the three amigos are. I think one last name was Jackson. And, you know, they're just three dudes. Right. They'd lose every time, but to take that team to Super Bowl over and over he was remarkable. Impressive.
Yeah. I think I've told you this before. The first football game I remember like vividly was Super Bowl 30 when the Steelers lost to the Cowboys.
Okay. It's funny. Mine is the Steelers win over the Rams.
I think that, I mean, I was like 6 or 7, and I think that's the only time I ever saw my grandpa cry was when the Steelers lost to the Cowboys in Super Bowl 30. But
I was pretty beaten up about it too.
But the second vivid memory that I remember is Super Bowl 32 when Elway and the Broncos beat Favre and the Packers.
Okay.
And Elway did the helicopter.
And they spit in and right.
Yep,
old Elway.
And they finally won their first before, you know, going back to back and doing it again next year.
Young Elway was like Mahomes at the time though.
There was
nobody else like him. Right.
Electric. Him and Lemieux and Yager were my guys growing up.
Yeah, good ones.
I would love to pick the Broncos, but I'm taking the Chiefs. But I think we're both gonna have Broncos as one of our wild card teams.
To, yeah. We'll probably as my top wild card.
Yeah, we'll get there in a minute. AFC South, another very interesting one. 3 teams with
three strong cases,
real shot to do it. I might go Houston, Matt.
I totally get it. I am taking the Colts.
The experience and the quarterback.
I'm taking the Colts. I like both sides of the ball better than the other two teams. I don't trust the quarterback as much as Stroud, but none of them are proven. I mean, I'm not betting against Mahomes or Lamar here. I'm betting against Stroud and Lawrence, you know.
Yeah.
I just think they're playing the best.
They certainly are in that regard right now. They absolutely are. And 1-0 in the division. 4-0 in the AFC, the Colts already.
Their loss shouldn't hurt them bad. It was only they lost the Rams, right?
They did. So they're in a good spot. They are in a great spot in terms of those early tiebreakers.
Okay.
AFC North.
I'm taking the Steelers.
Same.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't even really have to think about this one.
No, I'm not going to totally discount the Ravens because I do think the Ravens lose this week against the Rams, bye, and then come back strong. But that's such a what are they now? 1-4, so they'd be 1-5.
They are 0-2. Sorry, 1-3 in the conference, 1-0 in the division.
So if they come out of the bye 1-5 with 11 to play, you pretty much have to win 9 or 10. And I know their schedule gets a lot easier, but I bet they split with the Steelers. They play the Packers. I think they've one other pretty tough game. And they're going to stumble somewhere.
Yeah,
they're
so banged up.
Right. I mean, I can't imagine them winning 9 out of the final 11.
I can't either.
And that only gets you to 10.
I'm ready to stick a fork in the Ravens, especially if they lose to the Rams this weekend.
Yeah, and I expect them to. I mean, they're a big dog.
AFC East pretty easy.
It's still the Bills. I know they lost to the Patriots.
I don't think they'll run away from New England by 3 or 4 games.
Yeah.
But I think that they will.
I'm pretty confident they'll win the division.
Yeah.
Probably even get the number 1 seed overall in the AFC.
Yes. And like right now, if we had to do the whole kind of like rank your confidence thing.
Yeah.
I think maybe other than Tampa Bay, they might be the team that I'm most confident in.
As
Steelers
division
might be in
winner.
that conversation pretty soon
They'd
too.
probably be
But
second or third,
yeah. I know that
The Bills would be my first choice.
I know they're just one game up on the Patriots right now, and the Patriots just beat them. But I think, again, the Patriots are going to do the 3 steps forward, 2 steps back, 5 steps forward, 3 steps back.
And I think we said yesterday, I'm definitely betting on the Bills to win the next matchup.
100%. I don't care what the spread is.
Yeah,
I'm laying the points. Okay, so there's our division winners. 3 wild card teams from you, Matthew, for the AFC.
I went with Denver for sure.
That's one of mine as well.
Yeah, they were my easiest ones. And I'm trying to make sure who I took the Texans and Jags.
Okay.
But
So
I didn't
3
like
out of
leaving the
AFC
Patriots
South.
and Chargers out. No, you know who I took? I'm sorry to make sure I don't do it differently. I took the Texans. No, okay. I had the Jags go because they had 1 loss. I mean, it's hard not to get in when you're 4-1. So Denver, Jacksonville, and then I was torn between Houston and Baltimore.
Okay.
Because I still think Baltimore could end up with 9 or 10 wins, But Houston beat them head-to-head. So if that's what it comes down to, I like their chances of beating them,
I'm picking up what you're putting down there. My wild cards are going to be for sure the Broncos and the Colts as 2 of my.
Okay, because you had Houston win the division.
Because I had Houston winning the division, so I'm going to go Broncos and Colts for sure. I might go Patriots as my final wild card.
I don't think that's nuts. I had a hard time leaving the Chargers off just because if they can weather this storm a little, it's just bad vibes right now.
Vrabel to me is like I don't know what his ultimate ceiling is as a head coach, but I think he brings a very high floor.
Yeah,
and
one of those guys.
I think that team at 3-2 right now can certainly win 9 games, which would have them in the conversation. Could win 10.
Do me a favor,
click
on them real quick because
Patriots?
Their upcoming schedule is so soft.
New Orleans, Tennessee, Cleveland, Atlanta, at Tampa Bay. That's
I know the next 3 though.
Jets, Cincinnati, Giants.
Right.
They should go 6-2 in those games.
That sounds like 10 wins.
That sounds like a 10-win Patriots
And I do
team.
think I agree with you.
They closed the year down with the Jets and the Dolphins.
Wow. I mean, they got 4 games against those 2 in the division.
They still play New Orleans, Tennessee, Cleveland, Cincinnati, the Giants, the Jets, Miami.
All right. So even if it is 2-3 steps forward, 1 step back.
I'm going Patriots as my final wild card team.
I didn't realize it was that bad.
I'm going to go Broncos, Colts, and Patriots as my 3 wild card teams.
I just knew the next 3 games were super easy. I didn't realize the rest of the schedule was
no Chargers, no Ravens, no Jags.
Okay.
Jags, I think, will be my first, if we're doing the March Madness bubble thing, my first teams out, I think would probably be the Jags.
Jags have a tough game this week. I forget who they play, but I could see them coming back to earth.
They have Seattle this week, and then the Rams.
I could see. Oh, they just don't seem like a 5-1 team to me.
They still have Houston and the Chargers coming up soon.
Yeah, okay.
They got to play the Colts
Division
twice.
Games will be tough, right?
I think they're not. I don't think they're going to fall off the face of the earth.
No, I think they'll be competitive.
I think they'll be right there. But they to me will be when the musical chairs game ends, they'll be the
number
one.
8.
Yeah, they'll be number 8 who couldn't quite find a seat at the table.
No, I get it.
Hour in the books, another hour to go. That was a fun hour. I enjoyed doing some of that bigger picture stuff. Matt, we are going to talk to our buddy Chris Adamsky in hour number 2. Before we do that, you want to go around campus?
Yeah.
Let's go around campus, talk about a big weekend for college quarterbacks. If you're watching on Saturday with some black and gold glasses on, we'll get into that to start hour number 2. Wes Uhler, Matt Williamson. It's The Drive on Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network. Good evening, Steeler Nation. How we doing? Well, that's good. Us too. It is hour number 2 of The Drive here on Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network. And Matt, what do you say, since we're in the car and we're driving around here, are you ready to go around campus?
Yeah, this is you, man. Take it away. One thing I'll add to the conversation is I was listening to Dane Brugler's podcast. He's a new one this year called Building the Beast, which is pretty funny.
I love that.
Because every week, I build a little bit more of the beast.
You were telling me about this when we got in here. I'm excited to listen to it on the way home.
So I didn't get far into it. I, just down at the red light, I started listening to that one. And what they're doing is, because kind of the halfway point in college football,
yes,
is he's given his top 3 at every position.
I love that.
And I've only gotten through quarterbacks, but that's what we're talking about anyway. So his number 1 is Dante Moore.
Okay.
Sellers is his 2.
Okay.
And Mendoza's his 3.
So same top 3 that we've kind of had the whole year.
Yes, and he didn't have more ranked last year because
not many people did.
Right. I mean, I guess he was pretty bad for who's the team he was with? Cal.
UCLA.
UCLA. Okay.
UCLA, yes.
The way that Dane explained it was he really wasn't very good at UCLA.
Which is wild too, because I remember when you and I started having the Fernando Mendoza conversation.
Yeah.
A lot of the Pitt
He came
people,
from Cal.
He came from Cal.
Yeah.
A lot of the Pitt people, like our buddy Tom Opferman, were like, "What are you talking about? He's not that good. I watched him play last year at Cal." And I'm like, Just wait.
Just wait. Okay.
Like, he was playing at Cal with a bunch of nobodies. Now he's going to Signetti and an Indiana team that is at the best they've been in program history, which, albeit isn't an incredibly high bar to clear. They won 10 games last year for the first time as a program.
Mm-hmm.
But I think those 3, no matter what order you have them in, are the top 3.
I think so.
If
it would be pretty consensus at this point.
I'm not even saying it's a hot take, but I think you would have to have some real kind of mental gymnastics to have somebody else over those 3. Again, whatever
Nussmeier and Klubnik and Uhler and all the guys that got a lot of hype preseason haven't stepped forward.
They have not. Now, I will say some of them have started to rebound nicely.
Okay,
in that regard. Like,
and their story isn't written.
I think Klubnik has started to show some of the hype. He's in this packet that I put together for you.
Yeah, it's quite the packet.
Here's what I wrote for him. Starting to show some of the hype that he entered this season with. Good decision-making and accurate. He carved up North Carolina and Bill Belichick on Saturday, where he was 22 of 24 for 254 yards, 4 touchdowns, and no turnovers.
How about an efficient day?
A very efficient day for Cade Klubnik.
Okay.
Nussmeier,
he's another one that doesn't blow me away physically, though. I want a big, strong guy,
Same. And Nussmeier's kind of in that same boat.
That's the other one, yeah.
But here's
Coach's son, and
Here's the thing, and he's in his 5th year at LSU. You would really think that he would have kind of grabbed that team by the horns.
Right.
It's been their defense that they've been leaning on early. He's looked a little bit better as of late. Big opportunity for him. Of course, LSU has got some monster games coming up where he's going to have a real opportunity to shine.
Well, Sellers is the one you were telling me off the air.
Let's talk about Sellers.
I kind of wanted to start there, too. Because, even Dane said, there's not much to go off of yet. So I'm just kind of keeping him at the top of my list.
And I'm laughing. I do read, like, this is not all just my opinion and my eye test. I'm reading stuff. I'm reading what ESPN's saying, what CBS is saying, all these different... you can go on Google and you can find college football quarterback power rankings every single week.
I'm sure, yeah.
And so, like, a lot of people are kind of, like, Sellers has fallen down their power rankings, which I get.
But he didn't do anything wrong.
But it's exactly right.
Okay, yeah.
Like, he had a concussion. They had a ton of issues at the beginning of the season. I think they've stabilized a little bit. They're coming off a bye week, okay? Now it's really time to start seeing
You're going to learn a lot about
Sellers, because get this. South Carolina's next 5 games are all against teams that are currently ranked in the top 11 of the college football poll.
Wow.
I mean, he's got I
know he's LSU this week.
He's got LSU and A&M and Georgia and Ole Miss and
big time defenses.
5 straight games against teams that are currently ranked in the top 11. You want to show it. You want to get back to being that kind of number 1 overall pick. He's got some real opportunity here over the next month or so.
I think it goes without saying they're dogs in every one of those games, right?
They will be dogs in every one of those games.
Yeah, okay.
Absolutely. But for him, here you go.
Yeah, you can keep him, sneak out a win, not look bad.
100%.
Right.
Even if you're just able to keep South Carolina competitive in all those games where you're going to be a big underdog in a lot of them, I think that would go a long way for him. The other 2 that you mentioned, Dante Moore and Fernando Mendoza, they both are coming off of a bye week, so not much to talk about. But 3:30 at Autzen Stadium in Eugene, Oregon, those 2 will meet on Saturday for what is just a fantastic Saturday slate of games. But that, to me, is the highlight. Is the cream of the crop.
Yeah.
You will get South Carolina versus LSU in the evening, which is Sellers versus Nussmeier.
Okay.
So there's one to keep an eye on there as well, too.
I know Indiana's good, but they're a dog in Oregon by a substantial number.
I don't know if it's substantial.
I was
think
guessing 7 or something.
I think it's about a touchdown. Let me find it here, because they're a top 10 team as well.
I know they're good.
7.5 points.
Okay.
Oregon is favored in that one.
3rd
ranked Oregon against 7th ranked Indiana.
Okay.
So those 2.
Oh, they're 7th.
They're 7th.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Those 2, 3:30. If I could watch one game this weekend, that's what I'm watching.
I never DVR college games, but I might DVR that one just to watch the quarterback.
I might be sending you some clips during that one.
Yeah.
Another one to keep an eye on. Oklahoma versus Texas, one of the more fun rivalries in college football, is also at 3:30. Mateer is a game time decision, so he could be back.
Okay.
If not, they have some big games coming up against Georgia, I think,
Red
as
River
well
Shootout's
too.
always
So
a big game, no matter what.
Red River is a huge one.
Yeah.
Hey, opportunity for Arch Manning as well.
I would
too.
say Manning, we at least need to mention in that.
Kind of written him off a little bit, rightfully so. But you have one big game in this type of game, you could be right back to the middle of these conversations.
Okay.
I'm also keeping an eye on two more games, just real quick for you, that I'm keeping an eye on. Indiana, Oregon, obviously. Oklahoma, Texas, obviously. Those are both at 3:30. South Carolina at LSU, that's 7:45, a night game.
Because we didn't mention Nuss is in that game, too.
Nuss is in that game against Sellers. Could be two first-round quarterbacks there as well. Alabama at Missouri. Because Ty Simpson, who I am very intrigued
That's who I need to watch. I don't know much about him.
He's the one who's really started to blow up on these quarterback rankings and quarterback big boards. Missouri doesn't necessarily have a quarterback to watch from NFL perspective, but they're ranked 14th in the country. This is the top 14 matchup. Yeah. That's a good noon game. And then another one of those guys, along with Ty Simpson, that I've really become intrigued by is Jaden Mavia from USC. 6'4", 230 pounds. He's got the body type. They are hosting Michigan Saturday night at 7:30 as well, too. Good Wink Martindale Michigan defense.
Yeah, I bet the defense is always going to be legit.
I want to see how Mavia can play against that Michigan team.
He's a pretty good athlete, too, right?
He's a good athlete.
Yeah.
Leads the Big Ten in passing yards. But here comes Michigan on Saturday, and then they have to go to Notre Dame the next week. Two kind of big games for him. Trinidad Chambliss, another guy that we've mentioned, who carved up Division II last year at Ferris State, won the national championship, is now at Ole Miss. He's going to carve up Washington.
They're highly ranked, too, right?
They're ranked like 4th or 5th.
Yeah.
They're going to carve up Washington State this weekend, no problem. But then they go back to back. They go back to back on the road to Georgia and then to Oklahoma.
Wow.
So big tests for Chambliss and Ole Miss coming up in a couple weeks, Matt. Hopefully Mateer is all healthy and good to go. Yeah. And we can see him against Chambliss in what would be another one of those watch both of these quarterback type games.
Do people think Mateer might play? I mean,
he is a game time decision for the Red River against Texas. Okay. So whether he plays or not, hopefully he's at least. He's sooner rather than later.
Okay.
A couple more that I want to mention here as well, too. We've kind of mentioned a lot of the same names and the big guns. Drew Aller deserves some mention here.
Yeah, we haven't talked about him much.
6'5", 235. And Matt, I went back and watched some cut-ups. And despite Penn State's struggles, which have been well documented, right? They lost at home in double overtime in Oregon, and then they went and laid an egg against a UCLA team that had just fired a bunch of coaches and was 0-4. And from a point spread perspective, maybe the biggest upset loss in Penn State football history. I mean, that's like
that one I'm aware
doesn't
of,
have the same type of ramifications because of the playoff now and the time of the schedule, but that's like a 13-9 level bad loss for Penn State.
I mean, you were talking about like how Penn State and Texas have just been they were like 1 and 2 in the country,
and they're unranked now, which tells you all you need to know. But despite that, I actually think, and a lot of people are dumping on Drew Aller, and I get it. People around
he's the quarterback of a disappointing team. Right?
If you live in Western Pennsylvania and you're not a Penn State fan, you like to rub it in when it doesn't go well for them. That's just the nature of the beast for Pitt fans, and I think even for Notre Dame and WVU and Ohio State fans that live in this area as well too.
Best college for producing quarterback talent.
No, it's not.
Either. Yeah, right.
But the one grain of salt that I'll give him, Matt, is if you go back and watch the last two games, he threw a terrible interception in double overtime against Oregon. Can't happen. That's been a knock on him, is that in those big moments he makes a bad decision.
Okay.
But other than that, I thought he actually played pretty well in those two games. He's been much more accurate this season, and for being a 6'5", 235, 240-pound guy, he can still move. Like, he's making some plays with his legs as well, too. I actually think Aller's looked okay.
Okay.
Like, his stock to me is a lot of people have him plummeting. I'm not saying he's rising, but I'm a neutral. I'm a neutral on him.
He's probably taking too many arrows just because Penn State's not living up to expectations.
Exactly right. Exactly right. And again, I understand that.
Sure.
That's part of the nature of the beast. But I did want to mention him certainly.
Okay.
Just 3 new names as well too that deserve.
Yeah, there's one name on here I don't know.
Which one?
Georgia Tech, Haynes King.
Haynes King. Matt, he's going to be 25 years old before the NFL draft.
Yeah, but that's not as big a knock as it used to be.
It's not as big of a knock as it used to be.
Penix and Nix and Daniels and,
He's got the body type, 6'3", 215. He did 3 years at Texas A&M. This is now his third year at Georgia Tech.
So I'm sure he's a big recruit in his day.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
They might have won. They're 5-0, Georgia Tech, having perhaps their best season in a long time. And they've been on the rise for where they were as a program these last couple years. But Matt, I mean, they might be 1-4 without him.
He's the whole show.
I mean, he is the whole show. Leads the team in rushing yards and rushing touchdowns. Despite being the quarterback, he's leading the team in rushing yards and rushing touchdowns. As well too. I don't know,
but he's not just a runner only.
No, he's not. I don't know if he is having the Kenny Pickett type, I've been here for so long, I'm just ahead of everybody else on the curve.
Right, I'm beating up on 19 and 20-year-olds and right.
But he should be in this conversation for now with the way he's played.
Do you thinking as a scout and how this works, like when he goes to the combine, will he test well?
Yes.
Okay.
I think so.
I mean, he's
his athleticism stuff, absolutely.
That's what I mean. I mean, he's going to
absolutely.
His stock might rise when he starts running 40s and jumping and stuff like that too. Okay.
Yes, 100%. Another guy who, hey, hand up, this is on me. I maybe didn't give as much credit in the first few weeks that we've been doing this is Carson Beck.
Because sounds like he's turned things around in a big way.
He came to Georgia as a massive recruit.
Yeah.
Right in the middle when Georgia was winning back-to-back national championships with a walk-on at quarterback.
Yeah,
Stetson Bennett, sounds like a law firm, like a future lawyer of America, and not a quarterback who's going to win 29 of 30 starts for Georgia.
And first-round picks everywhere else.
First-round picks everywhere else, and it never happened for Carson Beck at Georgia. He ends up transferring to Miami for his last year of college eligibility. And he's been very good.
That's what I've seen.
A Miami team that's in the top 5. I think they're ranked second right now behind Ohio State.
Everyone's talking about how he's matured and
he's matured. He's professional back there. He is he's not just a passenger. He's kind of the driving force on this Miami team right now. And deserves some credit in that regard. Deserves to be on this list. Really good performance. They hosted Florida State this past weekend. Top 20 matchup. Huge rivalry game there. He was outstanding. 20 for 27.
They beat him pretty bad too, right?
Well, Florida State ended up scoring 28-22 was the final score because Florida State scored some garbage time touchdowns.
But Miami was clearly the better
They
team.
were in the driver's seat the whole game.
Yeah.
And Carson Beck was a huge part of that. 20 of 27, 241, 4 touchdowns, no turnovers, and a top 20 win against Florida State. He's looking the part so far. Again, he's not. If I had to put
super runner athlete though, right?
No, not super runner athlete. He can scoot a little bit for 6'4", 220. He's not the Statue of Liberty back there, but he's not as mobile as some of these guys. But he, to me, again, if I'm making my list, if I'm ranking these guys, he's probably not even in my top 5 at this point. But he absolutely deserves to be in the conversation.
Okay.
As does last one for you. We actually somebody, I think it was maybe Carl was his name, tweeted us about including Sawyer Robertson in this conversation. I think because one of his kids went to Baylor, and he was like, "I spent so much tuition money there. I'd like to hear." I've
been hearing a lot about him going back to to summer.
Yes,
there's some people that are big fans.
He started his career at Mississippi State, transferred to Baylor. He's another one of those. He's got the prototypical size you're looking for: 6'4", 220. Leads the nation in passing yards per game by a very wide margin.
Wow.
19 passing touchdowns, the most in college football to this point. He can make some plays with his legs too. He is at a place, Baylor, Matt, where he's not surrounded by 5 stars everywhere.
Yeah.
They are off to a good start this season, 4-1. He's a big driving force behind that. He, to me, is one of those, maybe like a Trinidad Chambliss, maybe like a Jaden Mavia, Ty Simpson. You weren't really on this radar for me at the beginning of the year. The way you've played through the first half of the season, I'm keeping an eye on you the second half of the season. Certainly one to watch.
He has some traits too, right?
He has some traits. He's got the body type. He's got the athleticism. He's another guy that, I think come combine season could really start to impress and move up some draft
screams
boards.
like the guy that goes to the Senior Bowl and is the best one there, or
he screams to me like a Tyler Shuck. I mean, you know what I mean? Like a where. Okay, this guy will be picked at some point, maybe day 3, and then all of a sudden he ends up being a second-round pick.
We start talking about that time of year. It's
So
people raved about him at the Manning Academy. He was not the biggest name
Correct.
there, and he was phenomenal.
Was outstanding. So there's some names for you. We did talk a little bit about Jalen Daniels, the Kansas quarterback, yesterday. This is and college football is my favorite thing in the sporting world.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, take my job and my career out of it. If I could only watch one sport the rest of my life, it would be college football.
If you're retired with nothing to do.
Just from a pure entertainment and enjoyment perspective. I love college football. This year, Matt, I cannot remember having this many intriguing quarterbacks to keep an eye on.
Just the list is longer than ever.
The list is crazy long and impressive, and a lot of fun for us, perfect timing-wise, for a Steelers team that could be swimming in these waters.
Now, unfortunately, teaser, a lot of teams are going to be after these guys, more than I thought.
We're gonna circle back to that at some point, certainly. But there's some games and some names for you to keep an eye on this weekend as we roll along. I also love Julian Sayin, the Ohio State quarterback. Only problem is
talk about him.
He's a sophomore, and he is not going to be eligible to be drafted on the North Shore of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So,
but the way too early mock drafts for next year, he's going to be at the top of the list. Right?
Correct. And if Aaron Rodgers ends up coming back, you go a different direction in the first round, maybe tackle, something like that. It's
possible.
Certainly possible.
Right. You could postpone it a year.
If we're doing this same exercise next year, Matt, he's leading off the list.
Okay.
he's our Lenore Sellers heading into
Arch
next
might
year.
be, who knows where he's at that point. Right.
As much as I have never really been high on Arch, way too early to write him off at the same time as well, too. We're going to talk to our buddy Chris Adamsky, get into some Steelers and some AFC North topics when we return on the other side. There's your Around Campus for this week, heading into Week 7 of the college football season. Wes Uhler, Matt Williamson, it is The Drive on Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network. To the phone lines we go. It's time to talk to our buddy Chris Adamsky. He, of course, the co-host of the Steelers Blitz with Tom Opperman right here on the Steelers Audio Network, Steelers Nation Radio. He covers the Steelers for the Trib. Make sure you're checking out all of his work there. Buzz, thank you for taking the time. Let's get right into it. Matt and I kind of did some quarter poll conversation today, going across all the divisions and picking division winners and wild cards here going forward. We both picked the Steelers to win the AFC North. Can you remember a time for Pittsburgh that they were in such a good position in October? And is there even if Baltimore loses this weekend and falls to 1-5, you might not even have the boogeyman to look at over your shoulder. It seems like they are in such a great position for this early in the season.
And they have it right in front of them here in a 5-day span coming up to really just put their heel in the throat of the entire division. If you beat both the Ohio teams here in less than a week, which obviously isn't assured or anything like that. And answer your question. I wonder if one of those years, maybe in the early aughts or whatever, whenever the Bengals were still a dumpster fire in the Browns with the Browns. If there might have been a year or two where the Steelers were at their peak there, maybe. I guess that'd be before Ben, so maybe not. One of those years where you think that they just happen to have a lead, but it just seems like even if you believe in the Bengals and Ravens for differing reasons, as if you believe in them as being legit contenders before, it just seems like there's a malaise around both of them for different reasons. I know that Jake Browning era is mercifully over for not only for the Bengals and their fans, but anybody who watched the game at some point. That Monday night game, and every time the Bengals are on, it's just painful to watch right now, right? And they went from arguably one of the most fun teams. They probably were the funnest team to watch, if that's something you could say, or even a word, funnest, last season when they were, scoring a lot of points, getting up a lot of points, to being the most excruciating offense to watch. I feel like they're pulling teeth, so they can't get any worse under their new quarterback. But it's wild how you're sitting here, especially for a team that I'm guessing the betting markets had the Steelers third to start the season, and the third pick in the division, and to be in this, appearance of such a good spot here before they even play a game in October.
No doubt. So let's switch things just to the Steelers. We got some injury news, some good, some bad. It looks like Warren's likely to be back. Do you think he goes back to being almost the entire workload and Gainwell's a spot player, or does that load become more 50-50 with as well as Gainwell played, or might Caleb Johnson ever see the field? How do you think the division of labor at running back is going to go?
Well, I keep getting asked that, and I always say, like, remember, week one, Gainwell outsnapped Flores. He didn't get more touches, and that was before Gainwell's, breakout, and he could show it. And that was presumably everybody's healthy, and they could say they were behind a lot of that game, and maybe that's more, Gainwell snap friendly or whatever. But I don't know if 50-50 is the right way to put it, but it seems clear that these coaches like Gainwell. They went out and signed Gainwell as an organization, and where up at camp they gave him a lot of looks in a lot of different ways. And like I said, week one he played a lot. They made him clearly way over Caleb Johnson during the game that Warren wasn't available. So Gainwell is part of this offense. He's a significant part of the offense no matter who's healthy. And if the game's a quote unquote normal game where it's always within a score or whatever it is, then I don't know how exactly that plays out. I would imagine Warren will still get more carries and probably just more touches by that alone. But we're talking probably a 60-40 type, snap share and then things is what I envision here going forward.
Chris, what's your thoughts on the offensive line here coming out of the bye week? I think that there has certainly been progress, but that there's certainly still more to be desired there. A little bit better in the run game. Still feels like they're a little hesitant to, put Aaron Rodgers back there and let him stand in the pocket and throw downfield. Maybe some pass protection concerns. Are they trending in the right direction, or has the progress still been a little slower than you'd like?
Well, a couple of things. One thing I saw at the end of that Vikings game, that was as demonstrative or as emotional. Yeah. I don't know at the offensive line in a long time, a Steelers offensive line. And I tried to ask, is that, did the Vikings, were they talking a lot? They were talking a little more than usual, let's say. And today, Broderick was asked a little bit about that. And he essentially said it was just that, maybe it's Mason McCormick. They all run together right now at the moment. But somebody said, well, it was just essentially that it was a run game in the second half there. So we were really feeling our, we're able to be the aggressor and everything. And that was part of it, the winning game. It's probably just emotion winning a game across the continent. But I do think by any reasonable objective or subjective measure, that was their best game of the season as offensive line. And maybe they are kind of feeling themselves come together. And the way I characterize, I guess if you asked me or the offensive line, if we were talking in June or March or August or even September 6th, and you showed me film of week 4, I'd be like, okay, well that's all right, that's good. I guess I'd be satisfied. But it feels so much better than that because of what happened in week 1 and 2, right? And I feel like the arrow is definitely pointing up. And I think all 4 weeks, I feel like the offensive line has gotten incrementally better. And, is that sustainable for 17 games? I don't know, to keep getting incrementally better or have your best performances. But you'd obviously rather have it this way than the other way, right? So, especially considering 4 of the 5 are so young and relatively young, 3 of the 5 for sure, had fewer than 20 games in NFL experience. So to have that and to be able to point to that and say that I think there's reason to be hopeful and optimistic about the offensive line going forward based off where they were the last game and where the kind of the trend's been for the season so far.
How much of the 6-0 line package do you think you'll see going forward?
Mike Tomlin certainly didn't. I don't know. It's almost like was he playing his hand too hard, where he's like selling his bluff too much, or he's like, they tell me play a 3-4 team or a 4-3 team, we're going to be in this jumbo because we can't possibly have a regular tight end block a 4-3 end. Is the way he kind of put it out there. So part of me thinks he oversold it, where it's like, maybe we won't see it all now that he started acting like we're just dealing with time. But you can't argue with the results from Dublin, right? They went with it, and I don't know how much they were planning on going with it exactly, but and then when you factor in the fact that Darnell's makes it essentially 7 offensive linemen on every play, let's face it, he was able to obviously go on routes and things. It's not the exact thing of an offensive lineman, but he certainly is the size of an offensive lineman. And the fact they had their best running game effort of the season and everything. Obviously, I think you have to find a way to keep defenses honest, whether that is some routes from Darnell or whether it's take some shots or something, because, I mean, you keep – obviously defensive coordinator is going to punch back if you keep showing the same thing in the same big package. They're not dummies, right? They're going to find ways to counteract that with their personnel and their scheme and everything. So, but I mean, it worked out well in week 4, and that was the most recent game, and it's pretty obvious in terms of where the run game went from where it was early in the season that you'd be kind of dumb not to keep at least rolling out there some, right?
Yeah, I completely agree, and especially against a defense that is stout against the run and as good of a defensive front as the Cleveland Browns are.
I think you might use it this year or this week to pass protect. Just put them on Garrett's side.
Absolutely. Maybe hit DK Metcalf or target DK Metcalf downfield. We've kind of one of those other elements of this offense that we've all been waiting to see. It is Chris Adamsky with us here on The Drive on Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network. Buzz, you mentioned Warren a little bit, but sounds like good news for Joey Porter Jr. and Alex Highsmith as well. I think obviously the Steelers secondary can use reinforcements. We know Jalen Ramsey dealing with an injury now. I think we also saw how important it was getting Deshaun Elliott back in that win against the Vikings in Dublin. And then for Alex Highsmith, I mean, the way you have TJ Watt and Herbig playing right now, you put a Highsmith back into that mix. It feels like the right time here when you're heading into a stretch where you can really separate in the division to be getting healthier on the defensive side of the ball.
I think it's good with the emergence or sort of more emergence, I guess. There's how do you put it in a Herbig that you're able to, with a guy coming off a high ankle, to kind of limit his pitch count here, his snap count. In the first game, you get 2 games in 5 days, coming right off an injury of missing a month. I think in that sense you can definitely ease him back in that sense. And yeah, I get fairly confident for sure, even more confident that Joey Porter is going to play. That sounds like that's all sealed with the little caveat that any kind of a soft tissue, I guess something could flare up before Sunday one way or another. But I wonder if, into a sense, they would never say it or admit to it if they did it, but having the Thursday night game after, I wonder if you approach a Ramsey and also a little bit different the way you practice them this week than you would if you had consecutive Sunday games, where it's almost as if you're maybe get them out there in the practice field a little bit this week, because you only got one time to do that between this game and your next game, and it gives you an idea, maybe allows them to ramp up a little bit, kind of see where they're at before you have to make a decision based off of just a couple hours of data practice. Whenever on a short week like that, it's going to be a real light practice anyway on Tuesday leading into the next game. I think that might be part of seeing Austin and Ramsey out there. Maybe it'll surprise me. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm talking, who knows? Maybe they'll be out there Sunday, but definitely don't get the impression that's the case. And I wonder if having those 2 games back, because the school of thought was, well, if they missed the first game after the bye, they're going to miss 2 games because that's the next game's coming so quick.
Sure.
But maybe they're already kind of thinking ahead in that way, and why those guys will be practicing here later in the week.
If Austin's a no-go, do you think there's a direct replacement for him for wide receiver 2? Is it Scotty Miller just assumes it, or is it a group project? Do we see more Skoranek? Would Wilson potentially be out there in 2 receiver sets more than he has been? What do you think?
Yeah, I wonder. I mean, does it play into? I guess that kind of goes back to a little bit to the big personnel, and Skoranek would be a guy that's out there a lot in that scenario. If that's either working or part of your game plan, he's obviously a guy they've leaned on and known for his blocking and everything in the run game. And if that's part of your game, I mean, the Browns are good against the run. The Browns defense is good in a lot of ways, so I don't know how exactly you want to try to attack them. But I would think, if I would wager right now, I think Scotty Miller would probably get the most snaps, and especially maybe if they're behind or something, or if they need to throw. I think he's probably, at this point, they're most comfortable with him as a pass game option. Man, it's like, again, I'm sure they would never do this, and they have a game to win, and that's going to be the focus. But at some point, you got to find out what you got in Rowan Wilson, right? I mean,
sure.
Austin's a free agent coming up, and I know you don't look forward to 2026, and there's a lot more pressing needs at the moment, but this is a perfect opportunity to at least get him on the field and try something. At least you have some on-field data points during regular season games to say, okay, there's some promise here. Okay, you know what? We got to move on, and we got to, he's never going to be a top 2 or whatever, top 3 receiver for us. because at some point you just need to know, right? I mean, it's kind of like it's the mini version of, the Browns need to see what their quarterbacks are. It's something like that where, and you have an opportunity now if Austin doesn't play to at least get him out there for some reps. But like I said, if the game plan is going to be heavy, then it'll be Skoranek. And I think that at this point, they believe that Miller's their best, receiving option, in terms of receiving production at that position.
Buzz, last one we've got for you. In the first hour of the show, we debated the Steelers MVP, team MVP so far to this, early on here in this season. If you had to give the award today for Steelers team MVP, who would it go to?
It's crazy because you obviously always default to the quarterback.
Sure.
Yeah, we kind of did.
I mean, so it's like, but it's weird because the Steelers, the official team MVP, as voted by their players, has trended away from the quarterback for decades. And whether that's intentional, whether I don't know how to read that. I don't never knew what was that.
Yeah, Ben didn't win it nearly as many times as you would think.
Yeah. Like I'm pretty certain by now TJ has more than Ben ever got in his career. I think, and it's just, but at the same time, it's like, Rodgers, there's between the clutch moments and just sort of just with this offense, and we've talked about limitations in the early, especially in the first couple of games of offensive line and the running game and even wide receiver depth and the production they're getting out of the tight ends for the quarterback to, be up there in the league leading touchdown passes. And it's kind of hard to go away from a quarterback. And I mean, defensively, it's like there's a lot of guys that have been up there. I don't know. Like Ramsey kind of sticks out to me. He's made a couple splash plays.
Sure.
Like, was he your best defensive player? Like I wouldn't have a problem if you said that. But
Cam Hayward's coming on strong. TJ's coming on strong. Right?
Yeah. Last couple of weeks. Like I don't want to say. I guess this is looking at a negative point. Like who's had the best? 4 games. Who's stood out for 4 games in a row? But it's going to be that the defense, especially in terms of. Especially the splash plays and stuff. I mean, I wouldn't. I'm not saying he's MVP, but Deshaun Elliott, they missed. You saw how much you missed him when he was out. And he came back and immediately started making plays again. And so there's I feel like I want to look at it as a positive that there's been a lot of guys on defense that have made plays and everything, and no one's really stood out. So I guess you got to default back to the quarterback then and go with Aaron.
It's maybe a low-hanging fruit answer, but certainly one that has plenty of merit. Chris Adamsky, make sure you're listening to him and Tom Opferman on the Blitz every single day, checking out all his work in the Trib. Buzz, thanks for the time as always, man, and we will see you on Sunday.
All right. Enjoy talking to you guys. See you then.
There he goes, Chris Adamsky. Great stuff from him. Boots on the ground down there on the south side. And Matt, as we take our final break here and come back for our last segment, we've got the Steelers' latest injury report.
Cool.
Some good news on there.
One last thing on the Steeler MVP conversation. I love him, but I'm glad it's not Boz.
Yes. Well said. Well said.
It's nice that his name doesn't even come up.
It's like you said a couple weeks ago with Jaylen Warren. It's a testament to him that he's leading the team in receiving, but I don't want him leading the team in receiving. Right. It's a testament to Chris Boswell that he has legitimately been the Steelers MVP.
Because he's awesome.
But I don't want him to be the Steelers MVP.
I think Score touchdowns.
Yes, I think everybody is picking up what we're putting down there. Last break to get to. Steelers' latest practice report. We'll paint the picture for you when we return on the other side to close this thing down. Wes Uhler, Matt Williamson. It's The Drive on Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network. Down the home stretch here on The Drive on a Wednesday. And now it is time. We've got the latest Steelers practice report. And I would say, for the most part, pretty good news, what we expected.
Yeah.
Did not
that. It looks like about what you expect.
Yes,
right.
Yes. Did not practice Jalen Ramsey and Calvin Austin. I don't think that's shocking.
Right.
I think we were all kind of hoping that we might see something in there.
But it is only Wednesday.
But
we've done practice reports twice. Sometimes you get ahead of yourself. Thursday is a key one.
And I got to feel both of those guys, if they were going to be placed on the IR, that would have happened already.
Yeah.
So I still overall think that that's better news than we expected leaving Dublin.
Yeah, and Adamsky and Halleck both kind of said they could still play Thursday, too. I mean, I know it seems so short, you assume if you don't play Sunday, you're not going to play Thursday. Well, maybe they need a couple extra days. You know,
maybe they're looking at it in the bigger picture sense, which would make a lot of sense. I think
makes you think they're sort of close.
Yes. But no practice today for Ramsey or Calvin Austin. Limited today in practice. Ben Skronik dealing with an illness. Hopefully that's nothing too serious.
Yeah.
Is
spreads throughout the team or anything crazy.
Is that time of year.
Right.
Got some things are starting to go around. That's one of my favorite Yinzerisms.
Around.
You get into like wintertime and someone's like, I got a cough and I got a cold. Yeah, it's going around.
They don't say that other places?
I don't know.
Well, they don't say with that accent. I know, but okay. I didn't even know if like going around was a Pittsburgh thing.
I think it is. Going around.
When you said that, I'm like, I bet they don't say that in like New Mexico.
You're right.
Right.
Like last winter, my kid's daycare got hit with like a bout of hand, foot, and mouth.
Okay.
And I remember the teacher like, we got hand, foot, and mouth going around. The flu's going around. It's that time of year. Skronik, limited with an illness. Alex Highsmith, a participant, but a limited participant with that ankle. Okay.
Fine.
Wednesday.
You knew they weren't going to rush him back. Right.
Let's hope he's full tomorrow, but you're absolutely right. No need to rush him back. They're not going to, but at least nice to see him out there in some capacity. And then the very good news, full practice participants, Joey Porter Jr. and Jaylen Warren.
Boom.
Great news.
I think they're playing.
I would be very surprised if they both aren't. You rightfully so pointed this out, that like especially with Jaylen Warren, it felt like if that Dublin game was a wild card game or a divisional round game in the playoffs, they would be playing.
Because that was truly a game time decision.
Game time decision. Like they didn't even take Alex Highsmith to Ireland.
No, we knew that when we got on the plane. Right,
but Jaylen Warren was a true game time decision. I think Joey Porter Jr. was as well too.
But Warren seems so close,
very close. I mean, he was even. There were a couple times I was watching him on the sideline because their sideline was kind of right in front of us from that nice vantage point that we had at Croke Park.
Oh yeah.
And there was a couple times he was like bouncing up and down, and looked chomping at the bit. Like, okay, this
wasn't
guy's
sitting there.
Wasn't sitting on the bench like hobbling around or anything or limping whatsoever. In fact, he loves to wear like that jumbo towel that we've laughed about. Out of his backside, he was wearing that towel on the sideline with his.
He kind of had his game face on.
Street clothes. He's like the guy standing in the batter's box, like evaluating every pitch.
Let me out there, coach. Yeah.
So great news for Peasy Jr. and for Jaylen Warren. Hopefully no setbacks. Hopefully they're full participants again tomorrow, and green light, full speed ahead.
Yeah, good.
Yeah,
and there's some. I saw there's some veteran rest days too that no one needs to really worry about. Watt and Cam just had their veteran day off.
Yes, correct.
No biggie.
Correct.
Cool. They're in good shape.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. Angry Bike Lane tweets us and says, just so you guys know, the quarter pole in racing means that there is a quarter left to go, not a quarter into the race.
Huh.
All right, semantics there, Angry
That's
Bike
horse,
Lane.
right?
I mean, I believe so, yeah. And NASCAR. Maybe.
I don't think I do some F1. I don't think I ever heard
of it. Oh, there's a Formula 1. That's something that I've been told I should get into.
The Netflix series hooked me.
But I've got enough vices in the entertainment.
It's time-consuming, though. And like this time of year, I don't even watch the race.
And you know this. I'm a big English Premier League guy. So
that's tough.
On Saturdays and Sundays in the morning, if I have nothing to do, like I'm flipping on the Manchester United and Chelsea game.
Yeah.
I don't need any more sports.
And
vices.
even F1, I mean, they show you the pole, the qualifying, the practice rounds are like an hour on Thursday before the races too, and it's pretty cool actually. I mean, it's big money.
Oh, I would.
You'd like the Netflix series.
I would, and I'd love to go to like one of those Monaco. I realize
the money is insane.
That's probably like someone from Ireland saying, "I'd like to go to the Super Bowl."
Right.
Yeah, no kidding.
Football's kind of cool. I'd like to go to the Super Bowl. Yeah, that's Monaco.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
You're right. Yeah. Anybody would like to do
right.
that.
And you're sitting next to Leo DiCaprio. Right.
Yeah. Right. Paying $7,000 for your ticket. Probably.
Right.
Good stuff today,
They
Matt.
even said this on the show. The boats that you see parked there.
That's got to be insane.
It's $17,000 a day to park your boat.
No.
Yeah, and the yachts are as big as this building. I mean, right.
$17K a day just to park.
Just
Forget
to park
the gas
there, right.
And the boat and
all
the
those
crew
boats you see it, they're racing around and stuff, right?
Woo! Yeah, I don't think I can afford that. It's a little too rich for my blood. Matt, good stuff today. Enjoyed the show. A big thank you to Chris Adamsky for joining us, and a big thank you to our video producer, Tyler V, Mr. TV, for making us look nice on the YouTube, as always. That'll do it for today, but we'll be back tomorrow. Time to fully turn the page to the Browns.
Yeah.
We'll get into Matt's
stuff. Right.
Get into Matt's stats heavy. We will
Got
we'll
a
talk.
game tomorrow night again.
Got a game tomorrow night again. Is it Eagles-Giants
Eagles
tomorrow?
at Giants.
Okay. Another opportunity for the Eagles to assert their dominance. Another look at Jackson Dart. We'll also catch up with our guy Bob Labriola tomorrow on the program as well. So plenty to look forward to, but that will do it for today. Take care, everybody. We'll talk to you soon. As always, you know where to find us. It's on your 24/7 home of the black and gold. It's Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network.